have something like this that you can like put on a shelf and say, this is a chapter of my life from this time to this time, and here's a documentation of my thoughts and my the patterns of thought. That's another thing that I could probably talk about. But like, this is how I thought this year, which is just cool. And then it's like a tangible book that like you could give to your kids and be like, here, read this year of my life. That's pretty cool in my opinion. Look at this view, man. I'm just like on my porch, but this looks really cool. It's very like, this could be out of a movie. I just finished this notebook. It is entirely full. I'll show you. It's got words, it's got thoughts, it's got some drawings, it's got like quotes, it's got a lot of stuff in it. This is my second notebook that I've ever finished, and it's a pretty cool feeling when you finish a full notebook. There's like some reverberation in this area, and it's making it sound kind of weird getting used to it. But it's a really cool feeling when you finish a notebook, and like a lot of the pages are like completely full, like back to back, just like full pages. So I wanted to talk about writing, because I've been doing a lot of it, just writing as a whole. What I've learned from writing, and this notebook was 118 pages, and the last one was over 100 pages, so over 200 pages of pen and paper writing, and what I've learned from doing that. And I have the last like page in this notebook, last 2 pages are dedicated to like a script for this video, things I wanted to cover. So I can just like kind of start and talk. I'm not trying to tell anybody how to live their life. I'm just trying to like offer my experiences to anyone who might find them interesting, because I feel like, you know, some people might want to know. This is my second notebook. I'm just going to talk about some things that I've learned about writing in general, and about myself and life, I guess. I don't know. So first I have a passage I'd like to share, and the passage is about sharing passages from my notebook. So I wrote down this. My friend asked me if I would put my writings in my YouTube videos. I might put some passages in, but overall I need space where I can be completely myself. A 100% safe space. If there is potential of this going on the internet, then just knowing that can filter my thoughts in a way to appeal to a crowd. And one of my only rituals where I can be 100% free would be gone. One of my only practices where I can unapologetically be myself would cease to exist. That's something I'm not willing to sacrifice. So, as a whole, I am careful with the things that I share in this notebook, because like there's a lot of private stuff, and like I've noticed it with drawing. As soon as there's a camera on and you just know that this might reach a stranger, it changes what you do. It changes what you say, and in my case I draw a lot, so there's sometimes a pressure to make something that someone else likes, instead of just like being authentic and being like drawing what you want to draw or writing what you want to write. So I need a space where I can be 100% myself, so I'm not quick to share like my passages and stuff like that I write in here. So just kind of a PSA before I do this. I will be sharing some passages, but they're very specific and they're picked. They're handpicked. So, starting out. When I first started writing, I didn't know what I would gain from it, other than documentation. So, I don't really know why I started. I just thought it would be cool to like have a journal and like look back on memories and stuff like that, and just kind of document life. When you first start, it's very difficult. Your hand hurts. It physically hurts to write. It requires a lot of effort to formulate words and sentences and thoughts. And then there's the whole thing of like, what do I write about? And to that, I would say anything. Practice articulation. Make yourself laugh. And if you don't know where to start, I like to start with your current state of mind and body. So try to describe how you're feeling. It could be tired, it could be alert, it could be lethargic, it could be, I don't know, anything. You just try to get as close to the essence of your feeling in this exact moment as possible. And that's hard to do. All you're doing is practicing articulation, and that has a lot of value. A lot of value that I didn't see at first. There's a quote that I kinda really liked. I didn't say it. I just pulled it from somewhere that I heard it. It says this. It says, "You don't write because you have something to say. You write to figure out what it is you have to say." So it's kind of like everyone has something to say, and you can't figure out what that is unless you just like write, because important stuff will come out. Things that you care about will come out. You're not writing because you have this opinion. It's like you write to explore what you have to say. You know what I mean? I don't know. And then, somewhere along the way, I kind of saw the value in writing. And I wrote down some points that I found valuable in the process of writing. So articulation. Articulation increases. It is a skill to articulate thoughts, both in writing and in speaking. People think that you can say what's on your mind very easily if the time comes. And it's going to be funny because this whole video is going to be me trying to articulate things. So we'll see how much the writing actually has paid off. But in general, articulation gets better. Whatever you're thinking comes across as more clear, whether it's on the paper or you're talking to a friend or a stranger or something like that. You're having a conversation through speech and language. Whatever you're thinking and whatever you're trying to say gets closer to the actual essence of what you're feeling and thinking. Because language is imperfect. It only goes so far. But you can get pretty close to your thoughts through language. I just don't know if you'll ever be able to like 100% get there, but you can get close to them. So articulation increased. Confidence increased. So there's this, I was talking with my friend about this sort of thing. Through writing, I gained confidence, and it has to do with like addressing everything about yourself. So when you write, you kind of like are forced to be face to face with yourself and your behaviors and your thoughts and all the good things and all the bad things. And if you write for long enough, you address everything there is to address. So how does that play into confidence? Well, if you already know the corners of your mind and your identity, then no one else can come in and say something that will get under your skin, because you've already been there with yourself. It's kind of like a powerful thing. and it's something that took me a while to realize. Sometimes I would do like writing sessions before going out and being social. So I'd like sit down, write a page, or set a timer and do like 30 minutes or whatever, and just write and like make sure I have all my boundaries covered. So like whatever I've been anxious about recently, that gets covered. Whatever I've been thinking about recently that's been like top priority, that gets covered. So like I get a clear slate going into like social interactions, meeting with friends and stuff like that. So like there's a form of confidence, and it comes with exploring every like corner of your identity, your mind and your behaviors and stuff like that. And also with something that I'll talk about in a little bit is like sticking to your word, building a habit, and having a discipline, having a, what's the word? Practicing discipline. So I'll tell you pretty soon, but I started a habit of this, and I wanted to write one page every day. And sticking to that, when I told myself I'm going to do something and then doing it, that builds these wins that like just translate into confidence when you're talking with someone. Like it just, you feel good about like what you're saying, because like I don't know, you've held your own word, you've held your commitments with yourself. You just feel good about yourself. You take pride in like the things that you're doing when you have that sort of discipline. So articulation went up, confidence went up. Goals. So I started writing goals through writing, and there's something powerful about writing down goals, like physically writing them down and looking at them. And then you're like, well, how do I get there? And you start breaking it down into manageable and like actionable steps. So you have something that you want to do, and maybe you've been thinking about it, but like that's all it is like thinking about it and ideation. And the thing that's preventing you from getting there is usually action. You don't take any sort of steps to get there. Writing is a tool that you can write down your goals and start to dissect like steps and like break it down into parts that can be manageable, and you can actually like start chipping away at them. It might take time, but like all good things take time. So goals, started writing down. I'll read you a goal that I set for myself in terms of writing really soon. Another one, I realized how hard articulation is, how imperfect language is, but how beautiful it can be. Articulation's hard. Communication's hard. Expressing what is going on in your mind is a tough thing to do. And you can get closer to the essence of your thoughts through writing, through practicing getting close to them. It sounds very like, it's kind of taken for granted because it's a form of communication, and we are with our own minds 24/7 all the time. So like we're very familiar with our thought patterns and our behaviors and the way our mind thinks. And we kind of assume that other people know what's going on up here. We're not always as good as we think we are at communicating our own thoughts to other people. That is articulation. It is hard to do. I think it shows up in relationships. It's probably shown up in my past relationships, but like just in general, it shows up in friendships, and like just like this is where miscommunications happens. And I just kind of realized how important like the whole idea of articulation is. So finally, I started a habit of it, and then I'll read the passage that I started the habit of. All right. Here. So December of 2022, December 4th. I would like to develop the habit of writing. There, I said it. 1 page a day, and this book would be completely full with my thoughts. That's about 3 months, which would land us somewhere around April. Before April, a goal of mine is to finish this booklet by April 1st. To accomplish this goal, I will need to write 1 page per day. And pages are this big. But writing 2 pages per day does not make up for the other day's pages, and so on. 1 page per day. Why do you want to fill up this notebook anyway? Well, it's better than getting to April and having nothing to show for it. It will. No, I want to have clearer thoughts and better articulation. I want to be able to produce my thoughts in the most accurate way possible. I want to get as close to their essence as possible. I want to be more confident in my speech. I want to figure out what else I have to say. I want to document my life in order to look back on it. I want to track progress through documentation, as well as relive certain memories. Turns out I have more reasons than I thought to practice writing. I would really like to finish out this page simply because of the way it looked. This is easy to do on a day where I want to do it. I can't wait for those days where I feel like SHIT and fight myself in order to get out 1 page of writing. 1 page. So, that was a passage of me setting a goal. And I didn't finish by April. I didn't stick to the 1 page per day. It is June. It is early June. So I am 2 months late. But that's way better than not finishing at all and completely quitting. So I will take that. I wrote that a goal back in December. So it took me 6 months to finish it. And I was like, I started this notebook in August, for context. August 27th. And I finished it June of the next year. So I started a habit of it. That's when I really started to get really into it. I was hitting this 1 page a day minimum, and I was feeling on top of the world. I would push through even on days when I didn't want to write. I would write 1 page. Some days I got up to 5 pages. I don't know if I ever got further than that, but that's where the discipline aspect came in, and I started doing it, and I hit I don't know, somewhere in the 25 to 28 day streak, almost a month straight. That's a lot. That's a lot of writing and a lot of days in a row. And then I started to lose focus and miss days and stuff like that. And if you watch my other video, the goal after that is just to refocus. So writing pen and paper versus typing. This is kind of something that I went back and forth on a lot. I probably have close to 100 Google Docs as well as all these pages. Pen and paper. You have to be careful with your words. Your hand can't keep up with your brain. So this makes you either have to speed your hand up, which it can only go so fast, or you have to slow your brain down, which is the solution that I came across. You have to be careful with your words. You have to be intentional with the words you choose. You can't just write super fast and get words out on the thing. You have to slow down your brain, figure out what you're trying to say, and use the most efficient words to get that thought across. That's pen and paper. It's lower quantity, but it's higher quality. Whereas typing on the computer, great for brain dumps. You can type super fast, so you can just get everything out super quickly. You don't have to use big words. You don't have to think about what you're typing. You can just get it all out because your hands can move as fast or faster than your brain. And this results in high quantity and low quality. So there's kind of a trade-off when it comes to, at least for me, when it comes to typing versus pen and paper. So that's just kind of something to think about, something that I came across throughout this writing journey, I guess. Very recently, I just had a job. I was working with kids on the spectrum, and that opened my mind in a crazy way, because a lot of the kids were verbal, but like very limited in their verbal abilities. They could express their wants and their needs, but not often could they express their thoughts and their feelings. And this kind of like sparked a realization to where like I have this ability to express my thoughts and my feelings and actually get close to their essence. Like I can practice this and get better at it. And it almost feels like it felt like a privilege and like a responsibility that like I should be taking advantage of this ability. After seeing that expressing yourself can vary dramatically across humans, it kind of just sparked a responsibility and a desire to take pride in that ability. Yeah, I think that's good. So it kind of made me like refocus and just have a little bit more gratitude for the ability to express myself through language and talk about my feelings and talk about what's going on in my head. I think it's very important. And now, time for some passages. My first bullet point literally says boogers. Boogers. Because I have a couple of passages where I just like, number one, today I spent about 3 minutes trying to direct my booger down the shower drain with handfuls of water at a time. I was just making myself laugh there. Like, that's just funny. Yesterday on my drive home, I flicked a booger and it flew while spinning like those helicopter seeds that fall off trees. Nice. A little graphic, but I thought it was hilarious. Alright, there's two more that I want to talk about. One is the feeling you get when you're in a groove and you're doing all these good things for yourself. Alright. I don't know where to start here. This marks 2 days in a row of writing one page. I wonder what my longest streak of writing is. Probably around a month. Same with reading and drawing. When I get all 3 or 4 going for a long time consistently, that's when I feel most confident. I feel powerful, connected, in touch with myself. I'm ambitious, I'm focused. But it doesn't happen in one day. But you have to start at one day. A 1 day streak is required to make any change. When I combine all the practices, I feel like God. Or at least closer to God. Like no situation could best me, and no failure could scare me. Damn, that's pretty powerful. Each practice by themselves are strong. It's hard to say which one is the best. They're all equal, but different. I would say writing, reading, and exercising are the 3 pillars. Then drawing is almost a byproduct of being healthy and practicing. Time and consistency is all it takes. Discipline as well. Alright. So that's just like a testament. I wrote that in April when I was like, in a groove. Like, it's just like something that you could maybe experience one day. And I'm glad I experienced it one day. Okay. When I was talking about when you don't know what to write about, and one of the things that I do is try to describe the state of your mind state and your body state that you're currently in. This is like a good example of that. I just think it's good. I just looked down to... Oh, this is when I had COVID, by the way, so like my body was kind of messed up. I just looked down to start writing, and it feels like a 3-pound weight is in my left nostril, but simultaneously pushing down on the roof of my mouth. When I move my head, the whiplash of the weight moves with a slight lag behind. I can't pass any air through that nostril. My left pinky feels like it's full of beanbag beads. It's slowly going numb. My whole body is just confused and is not sure what to do. And then I said, my family thinks it's ironic that I drew something that looked like COVID a few days before I tested positive for COVID. I call baloney. What a fun word to spell. Baloney. Not at all how you say it, because it sounds like balagna. Cool. That's just a passage. So, I think I covered quite a bit. I just kind of wanted to celebrate and acknowledge the finishing of my second notebook in my lifetime. It's pretty cool to have something to show for all the time you put in. That this is very private. Nobody sees me writing except maybe my parents or something, but it's very private. No one sees you do it. Nobody gives you kudos for doing it except my brother. And when you have something like this that you can put on a shelf and say, this is a chapter of my life from this time to this time, and here's a documentation of my thoughts and the patterns of thought. That's another thing that I could probably talk about. But this is how I thought this year, which is just cool. And then it's a tangible book that you could give to your kids and be like, here, read this year of my life. That's pretty cool in my opinion. I make myself laugh a lot in here. Something else that I could talk about is thought patterns. When you write stuff down, you see thought patterns. You can see stuff that keeps on happening, the cycles you get into, the things you keep thinking about, the things you keep telling yourself, negative things, positive things, what you should do more of, what you should maybe stop doing. And when you see the patterns in front of you in a book like this and go back and read them, then it's kind of powerful, because you can see, oh, I've been thinking this same way for a year or 2 years, and nothing's really changed. Maybe I should try something different. It's just really good insight on your life, and I wanted to share that with people. Hopefully people can relate. Hopefully people found this insightful. It's not, I don't know if I'm going to put any drawing things in it, but I did have a couple drawings here. I'll show you some drawings. Alright, here's a drawing. I did that in a tea shop with my boys. A lot of faces. There's a drawing. So this isn't completely about writing. And I got another one in here somewhere. I have a couple sketches that I used. Here we go. I've shown this one before. This is a whole lot of nothingness. You can probably see it like this too. Wouldn't make a difference. It's a whole lot of goop and a little bit of gop. I don't think I have any more. Cool. Yeah, that's all I got to say. This view is sick. I'm at peace right now, and hopefully you can find it too. Damn, that was inspirational, man. All right, I think I'm gonna end it here. Let's just sit in this moment. If you made it this far, it's just me and you. Just me and you. What a wheeze.